YouTube world. So today's video is just going to be me showing you the whole process of what I do when I bathe my dog. So first off, you see me here putting all of his dog beds and blankets and toys that he's used within the last month into the washer to be washed. I want to go ahead and start that process before I give him his bath today. Go ahead and add some laundry detergent in there, 2 cups worth. I'm going to get all that stuff nice and clean so that stuff is washing while I'm giving him his bath. The next thing that I do is I wipe down JC's crate. As you can see here, I just grabbed 2 disinfectant wipes and I'm wiping down the flooring of his crate. JC is fully potty trained, so he doesn't have any crate accidents. But since I'm washing all of his belongings right now, I want to make sure when I put the clean dog bed and blankets in here that it's going into a clean area. When I first brought JC home, I made sure to utilize the divider that came with the crate. I bought him 2 crates. One for the living room and one for my room, and he was only 7 pounds when I brought him home, so that divider was very much necessary, and I'm so glad I did because now he is officially potty trained and he's never had any accidents in either of the crates. Okay, so here's the tools I'm going to be using. I have some scissors here to cut away his flyaways along with some brushes and combs. Here's the shampoo, conditioner, and body mist sprays I'm going to be using, along with a floor towel and also a brush to detangle his hair while washing, and then a dog towel to dry him off with. So I use these every time I give him a bath. So before I start, I like to test the water to make sure it's not too hot or too cold. JC prefers it warm. He's less reactive when it's warm water. So I want to test it to make sure it's at a good temperature before I apply it to his body. As you can see here, I'm making sure I'm testing it, putting my hands underneath the water. He's looking around being curious as I'm doing this. And I want to get him a little wet, familiar with the water again before I start to bathe him. Okay, so now the water's at a good temperature, so I'm going to go ahead and increase the pressure here. And we're going to go ahead and get his whole body wet before we get started. Now, JC does not like baths. I think it's the whole thing about his body being soaked. He doesn't really like that. But I want to go ahead and get his whole body wet first before we get started. Alright, so this is the shampoo that I use, the Tropiclean medicated shampoo. I've had JC since he was 9 weeks old and he's now 3 years old, so I've used the shampoo ever since I brought him home, and it's pretty good. As you see here, I'm trying to lather up the shampoo to make sure every inch of his body is covered. You saw he's shaking there because he does not like the soap on his face or his ears. He doesn't like it at all. But yeah, I'm just trying to work it through his neck, work it through his bottom, his tail, his paws, everything. I want to make sure everything is clean before we take him out of the sink. Now, JC has come a long way. When I first started giving him baths, he would whine, he would try to jump out of the sink, he hated it. But now that he's gotten a little bit older, he's been doing a whole lot better when it comes to bath time. I'm very, very proud of him. Now in the spring, summer months, I do have a groomer that I take JC to. She loves him and he loves her. And in addition to getting a bath, he can also get trimmed, and the groomer, she cuts his hair to a nice, reasonable length. But during the colder months, when winter gets here like it is now, I just, tend to him at home, and I just feel like, with the cold temperatures coming in, he's gonna need this long hair. So I just bathe him at home, tend to him at home, and make sure that he is properly cleaned during the colder months out of the year. If you are wondering what kind of breed is JC, JC is a full-bred Havanese. Havaneses are companion animals, so that's their sole purpose, to be companion animals to their owners. As far as his colors are concerned, he is a gold sable with white markings, so his whole bottom half from his chin down to his feet is all white underneath him. And then he has sable in his cheeks and in his head, on his tail, and also on his member. He has sable growing in random spots on his body. So that is what he is, in case you were wondering. Now, when you research Havanese breeds online, you'll see that their fur is actually not fur at all, it's hair, which would make them hypoallergenic, which I know a lot of people have deemed as a myth at this point. But I know that when I was looking up dog breeds online to figure out which breed would be the best for me, I came across the Havanese. And upon research of the Havanese breed, I saw that they had way more pros than cons. And you can definitely look it up for yourself. But to summarize it, I mean, JC's very smart. He's highly intuitive, very observant, and he has been a great fit for us, a great addition to our family. So I usually bathe JC once a month, and it's usually at the beginning of the month. The date I chose is the 9th. Don't ask me why, that just became the day for some reason. I really don't know, but yeah, it's usually on the 9th. Unless I'm occupied and or the 9th falls in the middle of the week, then I'll bathe him towards that upcoming weekend and go ahead and get it out of the way. But usually JC overall, he does not stink, y'all. And I'm not even saying that just because he's my dog. I'm being 100% honest with y'all. JC does not stink. He does not have a smell. The only time he'll smell is usually in the summertime if we're outside and he's running and playing. When we come back in the house, he'll smell like outside for maybe for an hour or two. And then after that, the smell is gone. So I'm thankful that I do not have that problem as far as, you know, some people when you go in their house, it just instantly smells like dog. Until you see JC when you welcome my home, you won't know there's a dog here because it does not smell like dog in my home at all. So I'm very grateful for that. Okay, and as you can see here, I'm using this little fine-tooth comb to get all of the eye mucus out of his eyes. It also falls on his cheeks, so I want to make sure I get all of that off, and I'm just wiping it off on the towel in front of him. He does produce a lot of eye mucus, so I try to keep it clean as necessary. I usually do it on Fridays for sure, but I try to make sure to clean it as much as needed to make sure that, you know, he doesn't have all that debris in his eyes and could cause anything else to go wrong. We don't want that, so we want to make sure his eyes stay clean. Okay, I've taken him out the sink. I'm using this towel right here to blot dry him down, and I'm going to use that leave-in conditioner to spray all over his body, and then I'm going to use that big comb that you saw earlier. I'm going to use that to detangle his hair. Okay, so now I'm spraying JC down with the leave-in conditioner. It's called the Stuff for Dogs. I almost forgot to show it. But this stuff is nice. It does provide him with a soft coat. Gives me a little bit of slip when I'm detangling his hair. And I saw it on YouTube. There was someone else that I saw that was washing or bathing their Havanese dog, and they used this leave-in conditioner. And it had a lot of good reviews on Amazon, so I decided to go ahead and buy it. And I do like it. It does show good results. So as you see me doing here, after a while, I usually will just take the conditioner, spray it in my hands, and apply it to the rest of his body, because sometimes Jason would just keep looking back as if he's confused or intrigued. I think it's because of the sound of the spray bottle kind of interests him. So I'll just spray it in my hands to go ahead and speed up the process and apply that all over his body. Okay, now I have the comb in my hand so I can detangle his hair. Now, as you're going to see in this video, I started out detangling him, as I'm doing now, on wet hair. But JC just got very impatient with me. He kept trying to jump down off of the counter because he just didn't want to deal with it anymore. So I was like, okay. So I went ahead and just started detangling on wet hair, and then I went ahead and finished up on dry hair. Okay, now that JC's out of the bath, usually he goes into his zoomies, going back and forth from my room to the living room and back again, or he starts digging in his dog bed as he's doing here. I'm not sure the reason for this. Obviously, as we know, zoomies are, little bursts of energy that dogs get. It's normal. But I don't know why he always gets it after a bath. I'm not sure why. I don't know if it's just relief that he's out of the sink. I don't know. But he always busts into zoomies, or just a, severely fast digging session in his bed. He does this, I kid you not, every time he takes a bath. So now he's on the couch doing it, and I'm telling him to stop here. That's why he's looking at me, because I'm telling him to stop. And he just keeps going. He goes from one end of the couch to the next, digs, stops, goes back and forth again a few times. And yeah, this is a monthly routine every time he gets a bath. So again, I am telling him to stop. His nails are cut, but still, I don't want him to make a habit of digging at the couch, but he always does it. So I'm telling him to stop again. Now he's in my room on the floor. He's in zoomie mode still. Again, I'm telling him to stop and trying to get his attention, but he just keeps going. So I'm not sure what it is. If you know, let me know in the comments. All right, so right here, I'm telling him to get in the crate, so that way we can go ahead and blow dry his hair. Okay, so I pulled my blow dryer out so I can dry the rest of his body. When I first started giving JC baths, he hated the blow dryer. He did not like it at all. He would bark at it. He was not having it. I think it's because it's so loud. He did not want that thing near him, okay? But now he's gotten a lot better with the blow dryer. He tolerates it. It's more so when I get close to that face or the back of that neck or those ears, that's when it's too close for comfort and he'll start barking at it again. But everywhere else I can, blow dry him fine with no problem. So he's getting used to it. Okay, all done. So by this time, the washing cycle had ended. So I went ahead and took all of JC's belongings out of the washer and put them in the dryer. Alright, so now I am flipping JC over on his back so I can see his stomach so I can finish detangling him. As you can see, at first he was not having it. He does not like being on his back when it's involuntary, but it's all a part of the grooming process. So I gotta make sure that I get all the knots out on his paws, on his arms, and on his stomach. So that's what I'm doing here. Thankfully, he didn't have a lot of knots, so I was able to get through this process rather quickly. As you can see right here, JC ended up turning over on his stomach, but coincidentally enough, I was done grooming his stomach, so he ended up turning over. So I went ahead and just went over his paws and his back one more time to make sure I got all the knots out. Now, if you're wondering why I haven't mentioned his nails yet, it's because he gets his nails cut at the vet's office. Reason being is because JC has black nails and his quick is very long, so it's just better for him to get his nails cut at the vet. I do have a nail clipper, but I don't use it because I'm always fearful of cutting the quick and hurting him. And of course, there's going to be blood all over the place. So to avoid all that, it just seemed like the best decision to let the vet cut his nails. He does go to the vet to get his nails cut every 4 weeks, more if we can, depending on how long his nails are at the time. They do put him under anesthesia while they do it to keep him calm, because he does have severe anxiety when his nails are cut. So yeah, that's the reason why I haven't mentioned it, because he gets his nails cut at the vet's office. So after I'm him for a good, I'd say 5, maybe 10 minutes, JC will stop resisting and he'll start to submit. And he's kind of starting to do so, as you see here. Okay, so as you see here, I'm just cutting the hair that's growing in the way of his vision. So I'm just trimming it around his face, around his eyes, to make sure he can see and that every hair is also in its proper place. Okay, so now I am putting a fresh, clean dog bed inside of his crate. He, of course, has to sniff to investigate and get in to see what's going on. Okay, so next up, I'm going to put this heated blanket inside of JC's crate. It is winter time, so I want to make sure that he is nice and comfortable at night when he's sleeping. That part that I'm poking through one of the holes in the crate is just a plug that connects to the remote when I plug it up to the wall. So obviously this is not an ongoing everyday thing. It's just for the colder months, the colder nights. Just want to make sure he's nice and warm inside of his crate. Now I'm putting the actual blanket on top of the heated blanket. Nice clean blanket for him to lay on. And of course, JC has to step in and sniff around and make sure everything is to his liking. After that, I'm going to put this blanket on top of his crate. I don't have a crate cover, but I did buy these name embroidered blankets from Etsy that has JC's name on the side. So I use those as his crate cover. Aww, look at that face. Isn't he so cute? Such a cute puppy. Yes, you are. You're just a nice, pretty fluff ball. Yes, you are. Okay, so JC's belongings are now officially dry. I'm just dumping them on my bed so I can fold them and put them away. Now that his baby blanket is clean, I put it inside of his crate. So he went in his crate with it. Now he's playing with it and he's gonna bring it outside of the crate with him. He loves that thing. And this is the finished look. If you like what you saw today, make sure you leave comments and subscribe, guys. Bye.